Hey guys and girls, I'm fresh off the plane after 6.5 weeks in Europe, and this is our Unpack with me video. So before I get unpacking everything, I just wanted to show you how I got around Europe. So this was how I got around. This is the Fairview 55 Osprey bag, and I couldn't rate it more highly. Partly because there's so many features. This is a 15-litre day bag, and I think this is a 40-litre full pack. You can hook this one into the front, you can hang things off the front, and after about a week I worked out this bag, which we used for food, I could hang off the front here and be completely hands-free, which was really awesome when getting on trains and buses and all sorts of things. If you want to see how I packed this bag, this is the link for the Pack With Me video just before I went, and I'm going to talk about in this video everything that I learnt in our journey. Now, Mr. Cookie's going to be popping on the video a little bit later on to talk about what he packed and what he wished he packed and didn't pack for our journey in Europe. Now, I haven't unpacked anything out of here yet, so pretty much everything in here needs washing in terms of clothing. So bear with me, but these are our neck pillows, which we tended to just hook on the front here just so that they were accessible. Okay, let's do this. So in here, I've got my puffer jacket, which I mainly just needed through Switzerland, France, I don't know, a few of those sorts of countries because we were there in autumn. I've got a towel, which we used when we went to the beaches, mainly in the Greek islands. I've got my merino t-shirt, which I wore as a PJ shirt, and I also wore it around as well during the day if I needed an extra t-shirt if the other one was in the wash. I've got some lightweight black shorts, which I wore quite a lot, a pair of underwear, another pair of underwear. Like I said, I just kind of shoved everything in, so this is all a bit crazy. A bra, white cropped top, this little bag here, which was really good towards the end of our trip. We mainly, through the first part, wore a backpack with snacks and water and everything like that, took that everywhere we went. But as we went along and we got more tired, we tended to not want to have a backpack on us. So I just put a few snacks and things, everything in here. It's not massive, but it fitted enough stuff just to get around for the day. When packing, I shoved in here a container, which collapses down, a hat, which I wore mainly in the Greek islands, and a little money wallet, which I didn't think I was going to use, but I did end up using in the end. And that bag was good because it was a neutral color, so it went with everything. I always take hand scales, not that we were ever overweight with our bags, because we tried to keep everything as minimalistic as possible. In here, I have Mr. Cookie's collapsible container because he ran out of space in his bag because he took all the presents for our family and friends. Now, I don't know if you watched the Pack With Me video, but I actually had an old pair of joggers which I took and I planned to throw them out. So they're gone, goodbye, good riddance. So I had a little bit more space in here to play with when packing everything up. I've just got these not thongs. Mr. Cookie always calls them thongs. They're not thongs, but like fake Birkenstocks, which I actually think that they need to go in the bin. They're a bit trash. They've been worn a lot. I've got a thicker pair of socks, which I wore with my joggers. I had these little flat shoes, which I wore when we were going out a little bit more fancy, I guess, in the evenings. They take up no space at all, so they were really good to have. I don't actually regret any of the shoes that I brought. The other pair that I had, which I wore a lot, wore to death, were these little white Adidas shoes. They went with everything. They were good. They were comfortable enough as well. They're not super white anymore. They need to be thrown out, I think. But anyways, a little black crop top, which I wore to death as well. In here, I had this little dress, which looked quite cute as well with the sneakers just to wear around. I wore it to like in Venice and a few of the other places. This is one of the things I didn't actually probably need. It was a 3/4 sleeve top. I planned to wear it underneath an outfit for Oktoberfest. We didn't actually hire gear. We didn't hire outfits. We just went as we were. So I didn't need this extra layer. I don't think I wore it at all. Maybe once, actually, in Switzerland. It ended up snowing up on this mountain, and I was really thankful for the extra layer, but I probably could have gone without it. As well as these white long socks, which I packed specifically for Oktoberfest for a bit of extra warmth. I didn't need them. They were a bit of a waste of time. I didn't wear them at all. I have there's some items in here which I actually added in after we did the Pack With Me video. So if you've watched the previous video and you've gone, I don't remember seeing that, just bear with me. I had a last minute change of mind just before leaving Australia and threw in some extra items that I thought we might need. So I threw in this little crop top, which I was really glad that I had. In the Greek islands, it was quite warm and I didn't want to have strap lines as much, too many tan lines, so I wore that quite a lot. In here I also have a nicer top that has flowers on it, quite sheer, packs down small. This white long sleeve, or you can fold the sleeves up to throw over my swimmers, it is absolutely trashed. It's got sunscreen, it's actually meant to be white, but it's currently grey. So I'm gonna see how that washes up. If it doesn't wash up nice, I'm probably gonna throw that out or donate it. Whoops. Running out of space. I have a beige kind of cropped jumper, which I wore quite a lot. A black shoestring strap maxi dress, which I wore under a few different things, mainly in the evening time. I wore this mainly when I was going out to dinner in the evenings to have something a little bit nicer, a little bit more dressy. It was quite comfortable, really. I also wore this with this over the top to Moulin Rouge. A little summery dress. That was the first packing cube. In the next packing cube, some blue jeans, another little cropped top, some denim shorts, which I wore quite a lot. These are presents for family, some long exercise tights. Now, I did wear these when it was a bit colder underneath my jeans, just for some extra warmth, and any days where we were doing any bushwalking or hiking and things like that. They were really good and comfortable, and I'm so glad that I took them because they had multi-use. I also took this orange jumper. It's a little bit thicker. It's really comfortable and warm. I have this black long sleeve. It's a thinner top, but I wore it quite regularly. A little belt for a little zhuzh on your outfit, and a rain jacket. In here I have some dirty clothes, which I don't need to pull out. Basically some t-shirts and stuff of Mr. Cookies mainly, and undies and socks and stuff like that. Thick bristle comb for when I wash my hair. Travel document, and we packed 2 of these things, which are collapsible drink bottles. I think we only used one of them once. Probably didn't need both of them, but yeah, they were a last minute addition as well. I don't think we added them in the original video. They take up 0 room. 1, 2, 3 pairs of swimmers. Probably overkill because I think I wore the black ones once and I really liked that these ones had a pop of color, so I should have just taken those 2 without these ones. Would have saved a little bit of room. In the front here, I have a whole heap of tea, a little bag that had my personal items in it, my gloves, which I wore for our Via Ferrata, which we will make a video a little bit later on. They were very useful and I'm glad that I had them. Gloves, my leather gloves, which I said could have been overkill, but like I kept saying, cold frog. I didn't get as cold as I thought I would, but I did wear these in a few places, mainly Switzerland. Beanie, which I mainly wore in Switzerland. Washing sheets for your clothes, and just an extra bag for if you do shopping. Now for the smaller day bag. I tended to put some clothing in here as well because I would actually pack up because we were moving around so fast, I tended to pack up my big bag, lock on and everything ready to go, and then I would throw my last minute items into this bag. In my Pack With Me video, I forgot to go through this top section. So in here, I had some eye drops, Vicks inhaler for the plane, balm, earplugs, Bluetooth earphones, and 2 pairs of earphones in here. I think that was overkill. I probably could have gone without my pods. I tended to not really use my pods because it was an extra thing that I needed to charge. So I used just the corded earphones instead. So I probably could have gone without my pods and just had one pair of these instead. That would have been plenty. A pen, an eye mask. I also had my 2 pairs of sunglasses. I was expecting to lose a pair, but I didn't. I brought them both home safely. I have a wipe left over from the Aegean airline. A little cap thing that goes in the top of my drink bottle, thing from the end of my boarding pass, hand cream, a Ziploc bag which had some protein shake in it, and my, I guess you'd say, vitamins. I had a bit of an issue on the trip. My tummy got really irritated. I ended up going and getting some laxatives, which then made me really sick. And so I did some research and all I needed was fiber supplements, which I did bring some. Once I actually realized that these would help me so much, I would take them on any trip moving forward because they have multi-use. This little tiny capsule provided me so much relief in my tummy. I also had in here some little magnesium supplements as well, which were useful when we had really sore bodies from a lot of walking. So they were very good. In this main part, I have our electronics bag. We have our battery. This thing was so good. Multi-use adapter. You could plug up to 4 things in at once. I have Mr. Cookie's gaming emulator, which I think he only used twice. This extra thing we didn't need. It was good to have it. We actually had 2 of them, which was totally not necessary. But a whole heap of cords for charging different devices. We had to buy an extra cord, which is a USB-C to USB-C. That was to charge multiple items, so it was really good cord to have. I'm not gonna go through all of our toiletries, but this is what I kept in my carry-on because we like to clean our teeth regularly and sometimes we had to do it on the go. I had some little wipes, hair ties, my retainer, toothpaste, face wash samples, face scrub, moisturizer, tinted sunscreen for my face, and a claw clip, which I didn't end up using very often. I thought I would use it more. Basically, because we were traveling so much, I would clip it part of my hair back and then I'd put my head back and it would be like digging into my head. So I ended up just not really using that. I probably could have not taken it, to be honest. I have some short exercise tights, some Nike ones. This green linen top, you can have it long sleeve or you can fold the sleeves up. I wore this to death. You'll see in a lot of my photos on Instagram and stuff like that, that I wore this a lot. It was good for a pop of color over whites and blacks and denim. It went with everything. It was really good to throw on quickly if we were entering a church where you had to have your shoulders covered. Really light, easy going. It was good. Probably one of my favorite items that I took on the whole trip, actually. Another packing cube with clothing. Some people might say this is overkill, but it is what it is. A black bra, merino, that was really good. A thicker navy jumper, which I wore quite a lot. Darker denim wide leg jeans. This t-shirt was another item which I'm so glad I packed it last minute. I actually purchased it 2 days before we flew out, and I'm so glad that I took it because it was loose, it was comfortable, I could tuck it in. Yeah, I wore this a lot on my travel days. It was really good and comfortable for that purpose. Some thicker socks and a pair of undies. That's all of my clothing. I've got our little wallets RFID from Kathmandu that had our bank cards in and it had our passports in it. Very important, keep the documents safe. And this little device, Lenovo tablet, this little thing was so good. It was a bit slow connecting to Wi-Fi and downloading and all of that sort of stuff, but it used battery just as slow, which was really good because I only charged it maybe a handful of times throughout the whole journey. And I was watching this for hours on all of the buses, trains, planes, everywhere we got around. I was watching this and it was really good. I'm really glad that we purchased this. It was only about $200 and something. Yeah, really good device to have. And my trusty drink bottle. It was so good having this. It has a wide top so you can easily refill at any fountain. It was great once we didn't have to purchase water. So in the Greek islands, you purchase water because it's desalinated, right? So it doesn't taste as nice. I mean, you can drink it, it's not unsafe, but this was really good to have in a lot of those European countries where they have fountains everywhere. You don't have to pay for water. It was easy to refill. I have a little spring in there which we use this to shake up our protein shake as well. It was a good thing to have. Now this was our trusty miscellaneous bag that had pretty much everything in it, but mostly we used it for food. So we wanted to save money everywhere we went, so we might have eaten 2 meals a day, but had a whole heap of snacks on us all the time. So we'd go get some fresh fruit and vegetable, maybe not vegetables. We would get some fresh fruit from the supermarkets and some snacks and things like that to eat along the way. These aren't the chips, but there was a packet of Lay's barbecue chips that I fell in love with, and then we couldn't find them again. These are similar, but they're not quite the same, but we have these left over from the trip. We purchased a little bit of extra food than what we ended up eating on board. I got some pizza crackers, kind of like our Australian pizza shapes, but this bag has lasted us so long, and I brought a little clip from home to keep everything fresh. We have in here our chocolate, what we made in our chocolatier course. That course was a lot of fun. We'll put the link in the description below. We booked that through Get Your Guide. We had a lot of fun making the chocolates and hearing all about the process, and yeah, it was really informative and a nice little addition. We're looking forward to eating these soon. We had some leftover euros that we wanted to just spend, so we went into a supermarket and just found items that fitted within that amount. I think it was like €3.60 or something like that we had left over. And then for the last few euros, we managed to buy this bar. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but we'll eat that later on in memory of our trip. Oh, our passports are actually in here. I'll have to put them away safely. And then this little bag was where we kept all of our muesli bars and stuff. We used all of our muesli bars that we took over, but we ended up purchasing some extra ones, so we've still got a few left over. And that is it. That's everything that I packed. Now over to Mr. Cookie and see what his pros and cons were for the trip.
Hey guys, it's now my turn to go through some of the pros and cons of the packing. Look, I'm not gonna unpack everything like Mrs. Cookie did. If you want me to go through all my clothing and everything I wore, put down in the comments if you want me to do that, because that's not really me. But if you really want it, if you really want like a fashion show of what I wore or whatever, just put it in the comments and I'll make something for you. So what I wanted to really go through is this pack and how I did change things around so everything worked a little better. Just opening up here, everything's kind of a little bit everywhere. What I did is I mainly put the major packing cubes in the bottom here. I had the big one sitting at the bottom. I had a few of the bigger clothing, like my jeans and stuff, sitting on top, and then a packing cube with some other miscellaneous stuff, and then all my undies and whatnot in there. And then I had some stuff that was like more fragile, I put in between. I would make sure I do this stuff up first, get it about halfway, and then I would pack it in a little bit more, then start filling up this top bit, which had a bit of stuff from Mrs. Cookie and stuff like that, stuff that we shared. The thing I wanted to tell you that I did change a lot is that Mrs. Cookie started out with packing a lot of stuff in these pockets here. It did actually hinder closing it. So having it all in the packing cubes made it a lot easier to actually close. So I actually didn't like these utility pockets as much as some other people do. I found it just to get in the way. Yeah, that's really all that I wanted to mention about this bag. It was good, it was sturdy, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it and really enjoyed the trip. And we'll be sharing a bunch of things throughout our future videos of our whole trip. We took heaps of footage, so we hope you enjoy it. What I did want to go through is some of the things that things that I forgot, that I didn't pack, that I wished I packed, and some of the things that we packed that I probably didn't need. Okay? All right, so the things that I, loved, didn't love, wish I didn't pack, wish I packed, pretty much all here. So to start with, one of the things I loved having was my hat. This was, I love this color as well, and I did this for a friend who started his own business, Greedy Bear, love it, and I took some pictures for him. I wore this thing everywhere, kept the sun off my face, kept the glare out of my eyes. If you're going traveling, take a hat. Next thing that I'm glad I had, but I never used, was my rain jacket. Now, what I wish I did instead was I wish I packed a smaller rain jacket. So I would have borrowed one off a family member who I know has a much smaller one than this. This one's very bulky. It's something that you wish you had if it was raining. But I didn't end up using it. All right, so Mrs. Cookie, and I love her for doing this, she helped pack my bag for me in terms of my clothing. But she did overpack my warmer clothing. Okay, so she gave me like 4 jacket jumpers, those warmer type of things. And I probably only needed 3 of them, so we could have left 1 at home. So the one I probably would have left behind was this long sleeve kind of jumpery thing. It's comfortable, it feels nice, and that's why Mrs. Cookie packed it. I didn't need it. That's the moral of the story. Didn't need it, overpacked a little bit, and if you want to save on space, make sure guys have some input and actually get alongside your wives or your partners and help them out when they're helping you pack, because I love my wife for helping me like that. Now, the thing I did wear to death was this jumper. This thing made its money's worth. It was awesome. Now, one thing I forgot to pack, and it was really needed, was before we left for this trip, I lost 15 kilos. And so my pants didn't fit very well anymore. They were kind of falling down on me. So I needed a belt, and I forgot a belt. And over in Europe, when we looked at the prices of belts, we found a lot that were like 20 to 30 euro, which is like, pretty much Aussie dollars, you're nearly doubling it. And that's a lot of money to just buy a belt. So I foregoed it and just dealt with it. But I wish I had a belt. So even if you haven't lost weight or anything, it's always good because it helps keep pants up when there's extra stuff trying to pull them down. Other things we took that we didn't need: games. Didn't play games at all. Useless. We're staying in some hostels, but most of the time we just wanted to get to bed. Now, I thought we were going to do videos like this over there. So we packed a tripod and some microphones, and we didn't use either of them. We probably packed too many chargers, wall chargers. The one that Mrs. Cookie showed you before was perfect and did everything that we needed. So could have saved them more space. All right, we had this money belt. We're going to my clothing, especially in those sketchier areas of Europe. Made everything feel a bit safer. The thing that we could have done, we had 2 of these pouches. Now, they have our passports in them. We could have actually combined the 2 and probably had both passports in the one. We could have just had one of these and one of these for everything that we needed. Probably didn't need 3 of them all up. Wipes. They were awesome, they were essential, especially in those days when you couldn't actually get a shower. Made you feel a lot cleaner. Shower and a wipe. Absolute game changer. All right, these are some of the items that I thought Mrs. Cookie may have been going a bit overboard with. It was those items that I was like, do we really need that? But I actually think they were awesome. Now, one of the first ones were this little gadget. Pretty much you put your device in here, clip it on to the chair in front of you, and then you have a hands-free device holder so you can watch your shows or episodes, whatever you wanted to do with your device. Absolute game changer. Would never go traveling without it now. This was just a cheapie from Kmart. You could probably find a better quality one somewhere else, but it did do the job. I would have been lost without this. We would have had sore arms. No good. But this, so good. Eye drops, they were great, especially in those days where we didn't get as much sleep. Gave you a bit of revitalizing. The Vicks inhaler stick. This thing is gold. Awesome to have, especially when you felt like a little grogged up because you've been moving about so much, you've been in different climates, you've been going up and down, especially on the buses. Everything kind of feels a bit off. It allowed you to breathe better. It was the best. Can't stress how good this thing was. Lastly, I thought Mrs. Cookie was a bit crazy for putting our food in this bag. We had 2 other day packs. I'm like, do we really need this bag for our food and stuff? But it was actually a game changer. It was awesome to have our food in this bag. We'd normally put our day bags in the overhead luggage and have this one next to us, a lot smaller, It didn't take up much feet space, and you could put just your random things in there that you were going to use for that short trip or long trip. It was awesome. I can't stress that a little bag like this, that if you did use it up, easy to pack away. It was just awesome to have. So good work, Mrs. Cookie, you've done well. That's it for me. Let's head back to Mrs. Cookie and we'll wrap this up. All right, so that was our Unpack with me video. We're gonna have heaps of videos coming out from our trip. I hope you enjoyed it. And Mrs. Cookie, anything you want to say before we go?
I would like to say we've learnt so much on this journey, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much more information that we can give you, but please, we love to hear from you. So please comment, like and subscribe. We would love to hear from you. Ask any questions about any of the things we brought on our journey.
Yeah, if there was if there's any questions about any of the things that we took or that we wish we took, or if you have any suggestions for our next trip,
we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, send us some comments and we'll read them out. And we'll do another video actually going through them all.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.